want to celebrate our daddies. Evangelist Agbola has stepped out, but I want to appreciate them a lot because I grew up watching his movies, and I was telling my wife on our way here that if I tell my mom that I spoke on the same stage with him, my mind will be blown because my conclusion is still one of our best movies of all time. So it's a great privilege to be here. I do not take this for granted at all. Thank you so much, sir. I was really blessed by that session. Thank you so much. Please, let's have our seats. Of course, if I want to sleep at home tonight, I have to do this. My wife is here. Please help me celebrate her. Sophie, thank you for coming with me. All right, let's get to it. Mystery of excellent storytelling. This title makes it sound more spiritual than it is. The mystery of excellent storytelling. It's not a mystery. I don't believe it's a mystery. I believe it's something that can be learned. During the question and answer, there were some things that some people asked that I just want to mention. Somebody asked about if you have a call to the drama ministry and you're in a church that doesn't support it. So a couple of years ago, God ministered to me that my filmmaking life was going to be a ministry, and I was okay with that until God said it was going to be in my church, that I would not do it as a person. It would be linked to my church. I attend Citizens of Light Church, and as at the time, my pastor has spoken several times about how we will never have a drama ministry because he believes that he likes excellence, and drama is really done excellently. Doesn't like pulling curtain, they're carrying tape. It doesn't like it. So when God told me that the filmmaking will be done in church, I didn't know how it was going to happen. But okay, no problem. I believed it and just kept on serving in my unit. Until one day we were having our unit meeting, and the pastor just sent for me to come. He just said he's sensing that we should start going into films. I was just jumping in my head like, what? I could not believe what I was hearing, but because God said it, and let me also mention this, I did not try and manipulate to make it happen. By itself, it came to pass. So if God indeed wants you to do ministry, drama ministry in your church, let him do it. There's no need to try and make it happen by yourself. God will do it if he's the one that wants to do it. Somebody said something about Netflix and gospel content. There's a TV show called The Chosen. How many of us know The Chosen? Oh my God. Wow, okay. Please, I Google it. It's called The Chosen. It's a series on the life of Jesus. It is brilliant. It is excellently done. And when the series was going to start, even till now, they run it on their own app. They created an app called Angel Studios, something like that. So they created their own app, and the man did not have money. They did crowdfunding. Till now, they still crowdfund it. All right, they did crowdfunding for the first season, for the second season. They are in the third. Okay, they've completed the third season. I think they are shooting the fourth season now. And one day, I just saw a message on Facebook. They are now on Netflix. Like it is about Jesus. So from the beginning, there's no hiding Jesus. This is a story of Jesus and his disciples, and it is now on Netflix. Of course, I'm sure that in the beginning, if they went to Netflix when they started, they would have said no, that we don't want it. This is a self-funded project, crowd-funded project, and millions and millions of people, have been seeing it. So I believe that what we should chase is excellence, not Netflix. By the time you do your stuff, and it is good, and the whole world is talking about it, Netflix will come to me. They didn't come because they like us. They came because they need us. So that's why Nollywood is now, quote and unquote, on Netflix. So by the time we start creating excellent stories in Christian movies, they will come, not because they like Jesus, but because they like money. So we will use their like for money to get the word out. So I don't think the issue is how do we get on Netflix. The issue should be how do we tell excellent stories. And I hope that this session is going to help. Do I have a timer? Or I'll time it on my phone. All right, thank you, sir. Storytelling is very powerful. Let me start with that. And everybody here who is a drama minister, you know this. Storytelling is very powerful. And this is how powerful storytelling is. We are all Christians here. How many of us believe adultery is right? Do you believe adultery is right? Do you believe there are some circumstances where adultery is right? If I ask this question in any church, this is the answer I will get. Nobody will put up their hands. Now, there's a TV show called Scandal. Forever and ever, I'll be grateful for Scandal because that is what got me to start writing. I'm a scriptwriter, yes. That's my primary. I direct a little now, but I'm a scriptwriter. The reason I started writing because I watched it and I was like, how did somebody write something this captivating that I'm losing sleep? I was like, I want to do this too. And I started writing. So I'm grateful for Scandal. But at the time I was watching Scandal, I had a few Christian friends watching Scandal too. Now, if you have watched Scandal, the story in the beginning was about the U.S. president and a lawyer. The president was married, but he was in love with the lawyer. So now, this is the part where I understood the power of storytelling. There was an episode where the wife of the president found out that her husband was cheating. And she said she was going to go on national TV to tell the whole world that the U.S. president is cheating, except he breaks up the relationship. Now, the president drove to the house of his mistress and, to show her that he loves her, sat down while the wife was on TV. Now, when I was discussing that scene with my Christian friends, they were like, wow, what love. See the love. Like, I like the way he did it. He just showed the woman that you are nothing. I was looking at them like, do people understand what is going on? This is a married man and his mistress. And you people are applauding them that what they did. Yes, they showed that woman. Because when you are listening to a story, you lose your senses. You are so engrossed in the story, you don't know when you are losing your values. You are losing everything you know. You are losing everything that have been taught. All of a sudden, you don't recognize that it's adultery. You are calling it love. That is the power of storytelling. There is a TV show called Scenes from a Marriage. Scenes from a Marriage, they recently did, in 2021, they did a reboot of it in Hollywood. But the original Scenes from a Marriage was done in Sweden in 1974. Scenes from a Marriage is a story about a couple and how their marriage deteriorated. So they were married. In the beginning of the story, we meet them, they are married, but then we see how their marriage crumbles and ends. And by the next year in Sweden, divorce spiked because the TV show was really popular, right? It was really popular. And people saw the hopelessness of marriage, quote and unquote. Like, see these people that look perfect and see how their marriage ended. And all of a sudden, you start seeing this thing that man was doing, my husband is doing it too. So, like, why am I in this marriage? That is the power of storytelling. The same way they can use storytelling to do all that nonsense, we can use it to preach the gospel. There's a TV show that I was watching at a point. I watched like 2 or 3 episodes. I stopped because I saw what they were doing. Hollywood is not unintentional. They are not stupid. They know exactly what they are doing. And they are good, very good at it. The show is called The Nun. It's set in a dystopian era. It's not 21st century. But what they were doing was, the scene I watched that made me know what they were doing. They had this gay couple, 2 ladies. And so the people in power were Christians. Their laws were based on the Bible. They were Christians. And so when these 2 people who were in love, innocent, they caught them in homosexuality. So they quoted Romans chapter 1, that the Bible says this and that, so you are sentenced to death. So they hung one of the ladies, and I felt pity for her. Now, are we supposed to hang people for their sins? Definitely not. If you know the scriptures, you know that that's not true. But I saw what they were doing. They were making Christians the villains, making the other people the hero. And that's the power of storytelling. You can teach people anything. You don't even have to say it. You don't even have to say love is the answer to all conflict. Just let the protagonist in the story learn that lesson. People that are watching will learn it. That's the thing about, that's what we don't do in Christian films. when we have done, somebody will now come and say, so the lesson of the story is that you need to give your life to Christ. You don't need to say it. Once you take them through the process of story, they will learn the lesson without you even saying it. And that's what they were doing in the film. So I stopped watching it, that no matter how good. And the thing is, the story was so interesting. I really wanted to know what was going to happen. But I was like, see, there are plenty of movies. Before I corrupt my mind and your mind starts getting conditioned in a way you don't want, just watch something else. All right? Sometimes it's just good to just watch movies like Fast and Furious that don't have any message. Just watch, have fun, and go. All right? In Africa, there's a complaint, general complaint. They say the West is not telling our stories right. They are telling our stories wrong. We should be the one telling our stories. In the church, it's worse. For Christianity, it is worse. Anytime there's a Christian in a Hollywood movie, the way they portray them, you don't want to be a Christian. Like the one I just gave, the example I gave from the nun. Why would I want to be the person hanging somebody who is in love, quote and unquote? So you don't want to be like, there was a series I saw, House of Cards. House of Cards, so very brilliant, really, really brilliant. It was about politics. And so there was not a Christian character. And for the first time, I saw a Christian character that was normal. She was not spooky. She was not calling Jesus every 2 seconds. She was not, she met the character, the character we have been following. She met the character on a bus and gave her a flyer to say, I invite you to church. And don't worry. And she was really loving. She didn't condemn the girl. That was the first time I was seeing a Christian character in Hollywood, in a movie that is not faith-based. And I said, wow. So maybe these people can help us, and they can really do it well. Until maybe 2 episodes later, the 2 girls started sleeping together. I was like, you people cannot do it. It's not possible. So even though she was good, she was a good example of a Christian, they made her a lesbian because they cannot portray Christians the right way. So I said all of that to say, if we in this room don't start telling our own stories and telling them well, we cannot be complaining. There was a time, there's this show, this musical show, what's it called? Black American musical, where one of the songs was gay. Empire, thank you. When Empire came out, it blew up. And I remember I was in Lagos then, and some people were saying they wanted to pray for you to fail. I'm like, you're just wasting your prayer. That's not the prayer point. The prayer point is not for you to pray that it fails. Your prayer point is for you to rise up and do something that will come to the level of Empire, and people can get the message as they are getting the wrong ones. Now that I've said all of that, I want to move into the class. The class. Let me just call it that. Okay. What makes a good story? No, not a story. What makes good drama? Because I'm talking more from film. I've never done stage. Okay, I did one French street drama when I was in secondary school. I don't even know how I did that. But I'm talking more from the aspect of filmmaking because that's what I know. Script writing, not